We are told in the very first seconds of the film that the name Hamnet and Hamlet are the same. However, this is not a screen adaptation of the play, but I would argue it is just as devastating.
Is it true? You know everything about a person by touching them here?
Not everything. He's got more inside of him than any man I've ever met.
Who are you looking for?
William Shakespeare.
Hey, my name is Alex, and if you're new to the channel, I talk about films in a more conversational way, and I try to answer one simple question. Is it worth the cinema ticket price, or in the case of a TV series, is it worth your time? Okay, let's talk about Hamnet. Hamnet is based on the novel by Maggie O'Farrell and tells the story of a pre-fame William Shakespeare when he meets the future wife Agnes. In the novel is Agnes, in real life is Anne Hathaway, and we follow their life together through moments of joy, of accomplishment, but also through devastating loss. This is historical fiction, as you might expect, but it is very nicely written, and in the hands of the Oscar-winning director Chloé Zhao, it becomes something close to a masterpiece, to be honest. Everything is painted beautifully, both in front of the camera and behind. And even though it pulls a little too hard at the emotional strings from the audience, it is still an absolutely worth the ticket price type of film. This is a film about a family shattered by tragedy and how they process grief in a world in the 1500s England that was shaped by prejudice and superstition. The play Hamlet is filled with themes of grief and memory and father-son dynamics. So it is very similar here. It's hard not to see the death of Shakespeare's son as an influence on Hamlet the play and his later work. But even if it's not historically proven, it doesn't really matter, to be honest. That emotional connection, especially in this film, feels very truthful. And this is the type of film that Chloé Zhao, the director, does best. Not the Marvel experiment film like Eternals that she did, but more intimate work like this, like Nomadland and this and The Rider, some of her previous films. The story here follows primarily Agnes, Shakespeare's wife, who is an odd egg, to be honest, in the 1500s England. She's the eldest daughter of the family, but has no desire to follow any expectations of the time. He doesn't want to marry. She doesn't want to marry. She doesn't want to conform, and she's labeled often as a daughter of a witch of a forest. So when she meets William, he is an equally introverted sort of misfit, and the two form a deep bond that leads to a very loving marriage, and leads to 3 children, 2 of them being twins. Now, that early scene section of meet cute between Mr. and Mrs. Shakespeare, future Shakespeare, is exactly what you hoped for. Is very well made, very tender. It's awkward and charming, and it just shines also thanks to Paul Mescal and Jessie Buckley, the 2 actors playing the main roles. Agnes is an open, defined type of person, emotionally direct, and William is shy and he's lost for words most of the times, which is a paradox, I know, considering what he is at the core, the greatest writer of all time. The film follows more Agnes than I expected. From the trailer, I thought it's like a balanced view of both their lives, but that tends to be the film's greatest strength, to be honest, because Jessie Buckley delivers a performance that is for the ages, and she is a strong contender for the Best Actress award, Oscar award this year. She does have strong competition from an equally devastating performance, but very different from Renate Reinsve from Sentimental Value, but we'll see who wins this year. But this portrait of a mother figure is more mature than her age, Agnes's age. Yes, she believes in what was probably fashionable at the time. She believes in the healing power of plants, and she claims to have visions of the future. But she's actually the most intelligent person in the room, because she recognizes when William is struggling with his internal creations, essentially, and pushes him to travel to London and pursue his writing, which obviously helped everybody. In contrast, William is a devoted father and a husband who he keeps all the pain inside, and that literally eats away at him. And you can see this in Paul Mescal's performance. It's also equally brilliant, this performance. And obviously we've seen in all the trailers, there's no spoiler here, the two of them, this is actually an historical fact. They lose a son. In history, in archives show that his son died at 11 years old. Some speculate that this occurred during the plague, though it was never proven. But either way, the loss of the son becomes the emotional core of the film, and actually leads to some really harrowing scenes of grief. Jessie Buckley in particular, she navigates these moments with control, but also puts her heart out there. The vulnerability of the character is right there on the screen. So it's just a wonder to see it. You're going to be floored by how well she plays grief in this film, Jessie Buckley. Paul Mescal is equally strong as the father, who doesn't know how to survive such massive loss. And this opposite, they are very different as people, but the chemistry between them is powerful. And every single scene that they share, even as they sort of learn to move on from the grief or live with the grief, every single scene is expertly played by these two. And obviously Agnes dominates the screen a bit more because she gets more screen time, but the two of them together are absolutely impressive. And the film overall is impressive, even on a technical level. The cinematography and the sound design in particular, it just makes you feel like you're inside this house of the Shakespeare family. There's moments here and there where we see Shakespeare writing in his room, and you can only hear his quill, the scratching of the quill, along with his breathing, and you just feel almost like close to the creative process itself. It's like you're witnessing history making right there in front of you, and you're part of it. In the end, Hamnet frames art as this ancient form of emotional healing, because grief is what fuels the creation of the Hamlet play, and maybe later on the next plays of Shakespeare. And maybe that is what the film is trying to say, because the two characters eventually come back together and reunite as a family through the Hamlet play. And in the hands of a director who understands humanity and restraint as well as Chloé Zhao does, this becomes truly a memorable watch. I'll see you next time.